I saw a comment on the last episode that was talking about public transportation. More specifically, it was talking about the fact that all we have right now are buses. And that's true. We do. We only have buses. So today, I want to try and fix that. I want to build a metro hub near the middle of the city, and I want to use my usual system of having the central hub and spokes coming off of it to let people get to just about wherever they want to go. And just before we get into that, that sounds like a segue to a sponsored bit. It's not. Don't worry. The video, we're not doing this video brought to you by. I know I have talked about wanting to use different types of public transportation, and I still want to do that. I want to use monorails, but just before we get there, I want to get some metro in here. It is all going to be sunken. It is all going to be underground. And to be completely honest with you, I like the idea of this as a small project that we can do in this video. It's going to be a shorter video than we usually have with this series, but I think it's a nice little palate cleanser, you know, from all of the industry, or before, I should say, before we get back into building a bunch more industry, because we still need to build that ore industry. It's right here. It's right here. And we're going to do it next time, because this time I have a plan, and I don't get to say that very often, but I do. I want to go ahead and I want to clear all of these buildings out of here. I want them all to go away. I'm also going to get rid of the, I believe, medical clinic that was there and the fire station that's here. And we're going to clear out all of these towers. All of these people are going away, and all of these roads are going as well. I'm going to take out the trees while we're here as well, because I do have some plans to decorate this space and make it look a little bit better. And this is where we're going to try and build things. This is where we're going to build something that's hopefully going to take some of the stresses away from the buses. So let's go into the transport tab down here. Let's go to the content creator packs, and it's going to be this guy. You already knew it was going to be this guy. I adore the Metro Plaza station. It is all underground. You can see right down into it. And I realize rather than telling you all about it, I can just place it and look at that thing. If you haven't seen this thing before, you're sleeping on it. I'm just going to say it. You're sleeping. It's the best Metro Plaza, Metro station you could ask for. So that's only going to be one part of the solution for this whole thing. I also want to go ahead and build a little something for the buses. Now, originally, I was thinking I was going to do the standard bus station here, and it would fit really nicely. I could place it in here. It's not going to fit in the middle, but I could place it here. I could place it on this road if I brought it back down. But what I'm actually going to do is build an intercity bus station, or maybe terminal. Probably the station. It's a little bit smaller. It also doesn't fit central though, whereas the terminal, yeah, it would fit central. That's kind of a pain. That's, Maybe we will go for this. I think we will go for the terminal just because it fits a little bit more central, which is annoying. It's very, in fact, you know what? Let's do some asymmetry. Let's do some asymmetry. I'm not going to do something completely symmetrical here. We'll put it right at the top there, and that'll be fine. If I wanted to, actually, I could do the smaller one and we could go for even more asymmetry, but I think we'll stick with what we've got here, and that'll be just fine. So the reason I want this thing is because this is going to allow people into and out of the city via public transport. We can also go and take some of the existing bus lines and run them through this thing. This red line, for example, can go and have a stop right about there. We could take this purple line, or we could take this blue line, and we could have it, you know, stop right in there as well. So if I wanted to, and I'm going to do this for just a second, I can take that stop can go away right there from the blue line, and we can kind of move both of these into this space. Well, that one actually can't be moved into that space. That's really not going to work at all the way I wanted it to, or would want it to, but that's fine. We'll leave that one up there. This purple line could potentially come through here. We could potentially take this one out and sort of bring it this way, but I think we'll just leave them where they are, and we'll have just a couple of stops using this so that there's people actually going, you know, through there. I'm also going to try and keep the game running while I do this, and I'm also I'm going to change this guy out to have some trees on it. That way, with all these vehicles and people running around, the people living in these buildings aren't going to be too upset. We can do the same thing right about here. We'll do the same thing right about here. And I think what we'll also do is similar just down here so that these guys have less to complain about. And maybe this guy, I mean, it's already got trees on it, so we'll keep the trees right there. And as for this, we'll just go ahead and do kind of the same thing. We'll upgrade it to have trees, and that will keep people happy even if they can't see the trees. And that's something I kind of just noticed. If I upgrade you to have trees, we do get the benefit of people enjoying the trees despite the fact that there are no trees. So yeah, we'll surround that space in roads that have trees on them, and that will keep the residents a little bit happier. I would also like to come through here and get some kind of park going, because there is going to be a bit of green space to play with once I'm done laying all of this out. So we'll go ahead and surround this with a park district, and we're going to rename this, I think, just to something like Metro Square. It's kind of boring, but we'll go Metro Square on this one. And then for the entrances to the park, it's going to be relatively straightforward. We'll get them kind of dotted around like this. We could do one here as well. I don't think I need to do one there, but I could. I might. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna. Maybe. In fact, yeah, you know what? We'll do it. We'll do a couple of entrances there, and we'll go ahead and just connect this all together. So these guys are going to be connected back and forth like so. This guy is going to be connected here. This guy is going to be connected there. And I actually want to put some zoning in here. So we'll connect these guys behind where the zoning would go. And that gives us a pretty good space to play with. I like that a lot. That's going to let people walk around. It's going to give us some shops in here. And it lets me play around with some fences as well. I don't know if I want to use the regular park fences though. I'm not too sure on that one. I don't know if it's going to have the look that I want. We'll do it for now. And then I might change these out for something else once we see what this all looks like once people are running around. But for now, let's just fill this with some zoning, because we did get rid of some zoning to build this space. So these guys are going to be commercial, because I think that's going to be a good idea. And at this point, I just need to figure out, ooh, you know what? I might make a slight change here. I might make a slight change, because what I'm thinking is, would this look better if I had space for trees behind it? It might. It definitely might. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're not going to move the paths. I don't know why I paused the game to do this. I'm just going to bring some fences back like that, and some fences back like that. And that's going to give me a little bit of green space there. And what we're also going to do is we're going to put a chessboard right in the middle of this square. I'm going to say right about there. So people are going to want to go through that park, and they're going to want to spend some time in that park. And that's going to be good. That's what we're looking for. Now, I have the task of figuring out where exactly all of the metro lines are going to go. So this is going to be a project. I do like to be able to see my metro lines. If you know me, you know that I like to be able to see things moving around. Unfortunately, we're not going to have that luxury. So let's kind of figure out what my goal is here. I want to reduce the stress on the buses a little bit. I want to make it easy enough for people to kind of just get around and do their thing and all that good stuff. So let's start from the top line right here, and let's go counterclockwise. So we're going to go left kind of this way around this station, and we'll figure out where everything's going to go. So this topmost line here, I'm thinking it is pretty much going to run straight towards the top end of the city. So out there, connecting up that way. Those might connect together in a weird way, but that's fine. We're not going to need too many stops for this, but just enough to get people to where they want to go. So we'll have those two next to each other, and we could do one in there, but I'm wondering, can I squeeze a little stop in here? Is it going to let me do it? I think it is. I think it's going to behave. I really like that I can freeform things like that. I don't know how it does it or why it does it, but right about there is pretty good. So that's going to be a shot that comes out of this line. And in fact, you know what? We'll just go ahead and build this right away so you can kind of see what I'm thinking and what I'm doing. So from here, we want to go and sort of curve roughly towards that guy. And I want to go to the actual curve tool. I want to lock into that road guideline and go up like this. And I'm going to try my best to not have this just be a complete mess of spaghetti. That's kind of my goal, is to make this as reasonable to look at as is possible. So we'll do a little straight section there, and we'll have this guy curve out to meet it. And we'll have this sort of curve around to meet that. And that seems fine. So that's going to run straight up to there, which means that this can come down as well. So we'll do some stops down in this space. And again, we might have a little bit of spaghetti going on with this, but I'm not really too worried about it. We'll do one right about there. We can do another one right on this corner. Those are very close together, but there is a hospital there with a bunch of bus stops. And then we can bring it down into the high school space. In fact, I would almost be tempted to bring it over a couple of streets, because there is, well, there are some, yeah, there's some footpaths there. There's some sidewalks. So yeah, we're going to put one there, and then we'll bring it around to the high school. And if I really wanted to, I could put it in front of the stadium, but no, I'm going to put it here, I think, is roughly where I think it should go. It could go there as well. It definitely could, but I think right about there should be just fine. So this one is going to be a little bit spaghetti-like, but I'm okay with that. And just by the way, I'm not going to make you watch this entire process. I know that placing metro lines is not the most exciting thing, but I'm just, this is all still part of one line, which is why we're still doing this. We'll put a cut in here shortly, and I'll come back and show you everything I've done. Don't worry. This is the one little bit of tedium that I want today. So what we'll do is let's go ahead and just sync a metro line here, and we'll bring this guy out to about there, and then just connect this all around. And it's going to be a little bit spaghetti-like, but it's not too bad, honestly. And so that's going to be a line that basically does the same thing that one big bus line does. It's just that this isn't going to have to deal with traffic, and that alone is a pretty big deal. And with just a little bit of work, we now have metro lines. They are working. They are instantly relatively popular, but they are a little bit difficult to see. So I want to go through each of these and show you what I've got going on. We have 4 different lines. We'll sort them by name. And if we go to Metro Line 1, you can see it flashing in the background, but I'm going to change it to a bright red line so you can kind of see it a little bit better. It is going to be the line that starts up here. It goes all the way down through the plaza, down and around, back through the plaza, and over to this new space. And that's going to be expandable into all of this space when we get around to building it. And that's going to be good. We then have Metro Line number 2, which we're now going to go and change to be bright blue, so it's easy to spot. It starts up here in Belmont Heights. It goes all the way down through the plaza and over to here. And it's also going to be nice and expandable. So that's going to be a line that can get you across the city, much in the way this red one can. And then we have 2 green lines, and I'm going to just keep those green for now because you can sort of see them. They both start down here. They both go up to the plaza. They both come back down. Relatively straightforward, technically expandable. This one more likely than this one to be expanded into this space if and when we build it. But I think that's going to be good. And so what I'm going to do is change each of these out to be just bright red, because that's the color that I want to go for on my metro lines. And I'm going to swap out the metro as well. Now, we could use the high capacity one for 500 people. We could use the subway for 400. We're going to start with the underground trains just because I love how they look. They're that London Underground style train. So we'll put those on there and see how things go. But hopefully this is going to be good. Hopefully this is going to do us a few favors and give us something that's going to be really, really popular. Now, something I would like to do is I'd like to move some of these bus stops around here, because I'm realizing that having a bus stop here is potentially causing some issues. I'm going to put it up there instead. And the reason I'm doing that is that hopefully that's going to let traffic just pass the buses. Hopefully the bus at the back, oh, it still sticks out. That's kind of annoying. I was hoping that this would allow it to pull in a little bit more and we wouldn't have traffic backing up through the intersection, but that seems to be exactly what's going to happen. So we'll keep it up there anyway. It looks fine. It's not a big deal. I will say though, it might not be a bad idea to swap out the buses on this red line, because this bus is full and there's a massive number of people waiting there. So I think we're actually going to have to swap this out for the super bendy bus, which can carry 100 people. I don't love the super bendy bus because it's huge and it just basically fills an entire bus stop, but it can carry 35 more people than those double deckers can. So I think we're going to have to just bite the bullet and deal with the super bendy bus. And so just like that, with a little bit of decoration, just some trees, really, we have what I think is a pretty good looking metro plaza. I mean, the plaza itself is doing a lot of heavy lifting, but this is functional. There are so many people coming and going. We have the intercity bus terminal at the back as well. I think this is a great little thing to have in the middle of the city. I'm so pleased with this thing. And I mean, looking at the numbers, 341 passengers on Metro Line 1 already, just shy of 600 per week on the Metro Lines, up to 700 now. So I'm expecting that number to climb up to maybe 1,500 people in total. This thing had 889 passengers serviced last week. And it's expandable, and that's kind of the big thing, is if and when we build in here, which we're probably going to do in just a second, we can expand the metro lines in there and we can have people able to get out here very, very quickly and very, very easily. In fact, let's just go ahead and get some metro lines out here now, because we can. Now, I'm really not inclined to use these parallel underground metro stations. I'm just really not seeing the point in taking up all that space. This one might make a bit more sense, because now we're getting away from all the spaghetti. There's not metro stations every other street in this side of the city. So what we could potentially do is go ahead and place one of these larger metro stations right about there. We could place a larger metro station right about there, and then we can kind of dot them around a little bit. So maybe one right about there, and maybe one right about there. And that's going to give us a connection sort of down this way as well. I don't know if we necessarily need that, but I'm willing to give it a shot. The alternative, of course, is I swap that out for an elevated metro station, which is an option. We could do that. We could bring the metro to surface level over here and have it elevated a little bit, which I kind of think would look great, to be honest. I do love an elevated metro station. I do think it looks good. I just think we can't do it. I just don't think we can do it. I can get monorails in here quite easily a little bit later on, because if you think about it, monorails are, well, they're going to be simpler. They're just simpler. That's kind of the gist of it. They're simpler because I can put them on existing roads. So a lot of the roads that have buses might end up with monorails, and that might be the solution to dealing with some of the traffic issues that we're seeing. Just putting monorails in here and saying, you know what, no more buses. We're, you know, in the future now. Congratulations. Welcome to the future. That's my thinking. That's the idea that I've got right now. Again, whether or not it ends up being a good idea, we will certainly see, but that's what I'm thinking we'll do. And that's actually lined up really nicely there. So we'll connect these guys together as well. And then these guys are basically just going to sort of swoosh over to each other is my thinking here. So we'll bring this to, I don't know, bring it to about there, I guess. Can I get these to line up at all is going to be the real question. I'm hopeful that I can. That looks fine there. And then this one's going to be much easier. This is just sort of going to go like something like that. And you're going to go something like that. That's maybe a little bit of a sharp bend, but I'm not really super concerned about it. And then, like I said, what I can potentially do here is connect this guy sort of down to these other lines. In fact, if I wanted to, I could add some stops in this space where there kind of are none, and that would connect up to those stations. I think I'll hold off on doing that for now. And what I'll do instead is just drag this stop all the way down to here. And we'll just add some stops in here so that people can go all the way out if they want to. They're not going to want to because there's nothing out there, but it just extends these lines, and that's kind of what I'm going for. So we'll add these stops just like so. We'll add these stops down here as well. And those are some very busy stations that I'm editing. So hopefully the passengers stick around. It looks like they kind of did. Yeah. So they're all just changing to the other platform, which is totally fine. And that brings us to this space, which honestly, I'm inclined to do something with. I think we should probably go ahead and just do a little bit of decoration in here, a little bit of zoning. We have demand for everything. Let's just see what we can do. And what I'm going to do is start with a unique building, specifically a building that I kind of don't like. This one right here, the Cathedral of Plentitude. I never know what to do with it, but I was messing around and discovered that it kind of fit perfectly in this space. And so, boom, it's going to live right there. It looks ridiculous, but it fits so nicely that that's basically the only place I think it's going to be worth placing. So yeah, Cathedral of Plentitude can live right about there. And then the space next to it, honestly, probably parks. That's likely what we're going to do here. So let's zone all of this. And I don't know, do we have a district on that tile? We actually don't. Interesting. I don't know what style we should go for here. That's going to be an interesting little question. What style should this district be? I mean, Modern City Center has been my go-to, but I feel like it's getting a little bit, not stale, but I'm using it everywhere. I might be so inclined as to change it up. We do have some options. We do have things like the, well, I was going to hover over Modern City Center and be like, we have this one. I love this one. I'm a really big fan of this one. No, let's go for, I don't know, shopping malls or Heart of Korea. We'll try Heart of Korea. I don't know if that's going to change them. I don't know if we actually have like Korean buildings for this. Given it's not building. Oh no, hold on. We might. I don't know if these are going to be Korean style buildings or not. They look. They are. Ooh. Ooh. They're all very standalone, aren't they? They're all. Hold on a minute. Are they all the same? They all look the same. All right, I'm slightly disappointed. I'm sure they'll look interesting eventually. I'm sure they'll get changed up as they level up. I'm sure they're not all gonna look identical forever. At least I really hope they're not all gonna look identical forever, because that would be, I'd be really disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be really kind of annoyed if they all just look identical forever. But we'll see. We'll also just bring some paths kind of around here. Do I want to go through a building for this? I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to punch through this building and figure out how that's gonna go. In fact, I'm just gonna put, wait, no, there's a building popping up again there, so that's fine. We can keep that. This guy is gonna connect down to that existing path, which is totally fine by me. This is gonna come down and sort of around like this, because I can do some detailing in there. And what I might even be able to do, oh, that space is already occupied. Damn. All right, here's what I'm thinking. Here's my idea. Let me bring a path down to here. Let me do this, and let me do this. Let me get some angles going to those paths right there. And then what I'm thinking is, if I make this a park district, I can put something in there. I can put a couple of somethings in there, as well as some detailing, and actually give people reason to walk around here, around the back of the cathedral. So again, I don't know why I've got the game paused when I do this kind of thing, but we'll just, we'll paint in a little park district here. And you know what I've just realized? We haven't got any pedestrian only zones in the city right now. We might need to change that up. Well, I say might need to. We don't need to, but I might want to. I'm not too sure how I'd do it. I'm not too sure where it would go, but we might have to renovate part of the city at some point to be pedestrian only. That could look really cool. Might be a terrible idea, but we're going to try it anyway. And I think what we'll also do, must have a main gate. Oh, I forgot about that. I did forget about that. Okay. Let's, I guess, oh, getting the main gate on this is going to kind of, it's going to suck. It is going to suck because we're going to have some ways to get in here without using the main gate, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not building this for really. Okay, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Let me have this overlap right there. Let me get my gate right about there. We'll get a side gate down. Can I really? Oh my God, it's not the park area. Do go right there. And then we get the side gate right about there. We can get a side gate right about there. And unfortunately, I can't get one up there, but that's fine. We'll just go ahead and sort of connect these guys all together. And that is going to be our park. And I think we're also, can I do this? I absolutely can. Okay. Run that up to there. We can upgrade this guy as well. And yeah, that's just going to be a park district. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Get a little fence across there. I don't think we need fences elsewhere. What we can do is throw the chessboard into the middle of this because I think it's going to look really cool. And we can also do things like the cafe right back here, which I think is going to look really cool. We can do some restrooms at the back of that building, which is probably a decent spot for it. And we can do this info thing. Hopefully, oh, I can't do it underneath the highway. That's unfortunate. I can't do it here either, which is a little bit unfortunate. I guess that's fine. We've probably got everything we need for the little park as it is. I could do this down here, but I kind of want to keep that fence. So yeah, this is good. Let's just get some detailing in here. We'll get some trees, make it look nice. I've got the game paused again. I was doing so well not pausing City Skylines for absolutely everything. I seem to have gone back on that. I'm kind of disappointed. And there we go. It's nothing crazy, but it's fine. It's just a little bit of green space and ooh, okay. I'm actually really into these buildings. They look, well, this one's a little bit, this is kind of a little bit of a weenie going on there. I'm going to be, that poor guy. Actually, you know what? I say that poor guy. What that is, that right there is one of those people you hear about. This guy has been offered like $20 million for that tiny plot of land. And he's just stood there going, nope, nope. My father and my father's father and my father's father's father and my father's 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 father worked in this store and built it from the ground up. I'm not selling. And then what's going to happen is mysteriously one night, this place is going to get firebombed and he's, the insurance company's not going to pay. So anyway, one day. This is cool though. These Korean buildings are actually really cool. I kind of want these buildings down here to be that as well. It almost kind of matches the style and vibe of the cathedral or whatever that thing is. So we'll change these guys out for commercial and we're going to expand this district down to here. And I think that's going to look really, really good. I also need to tidy up this avenue because that does not look really, really good. So that's, I think, going to look all right. I also can't tell what's overlapping in an ugly way and what's overlapping in a not ugly way. So I think this guy has to come down. Yeah, this guy has to come down here. And then this goes away. And now I think everything is going to be Korean. I think these guys are going to all get bulldozed. We'll just go ahead and take all of those out, take out those trees as well. And hopefully we're going to end up with a pretty good looking district right there. And I guess while we're waiting for that to build, let's deal with a little bit of the residential demand since we did get rid of some residential zoning down here and also over here. And let's just fill up the space here up to this subway. And I think the way we'll do that is just with a little bit of generic grid stuff is kind of what I'm thinking. Do I want to come off of there? I don't really think it matters if I come off of this road or not. I think we'll just punch straight through and that should be fine. We can kind of do the same over here, except we can't because this highway connection's in the way. So we're going to go to about there. And I think we'll go something like this. And that should be just fine. We're probably not going to see too much traffic using this as a way to get around, so I'm not super worried about that. I am going to say no one's parking on this road just because I can. And I'm kind of tempted to say that we go with the Korean style buildings over here as well. So let's paint this as a new district. And we'll use sort of the highway as the backbone of it there. And I'm curious to see what these buildings look like. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's residential Korean buildings in this pack. I've never actually used it. So we're going to find out together is what we're going to do. Ivy District is going to be Heart of Korea. And then we have demand for just about everything. We also have zoning on this road, which we really don't need. So let me go and just turn off zoning on that road completely. And let's see what we can do. So I think along here, we'll do some offices. That seems like a decent enough idea. I think over here, we can do some commercial. And I think over here, we'll do some commercial as well, just because I can. And then the rest of it is going to be residential. So fill up the rest of this with residential. I don't usually put residential zoning on main avenues, as you know, but I think this time I'm going to allow it. And also this time I'm going to see if I can get a little sneaky bit of path under here. I cannot. That would have been really cool if I could. Oh, that's what. Well, that explains why I can't do that. All right. Well, that's fair enough. This is going to be annoying to have though. So I'm actually going to just extend that little bit of road up to right about there. And that's going to let me zone this space. And then annoyingly, I have this, which might be a weirdly shaped building, but we'll leave it be is what we'll do. We will absolutely leave it be. I'm also going to just chop the district off of there. And just to be safe, let's also go and have a look at the Old Town policy. And I did see another comment, by the way, that talked about looking at all the policies that could apply to the entire city. I 100% want to get around to doing that as well. I have been checking out the different comments and the different bits of feedback, and I'm looking, I'm noting them down. We talked about the whiteboard. The whiteboard still has the thing about the hydro dam on it, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna do some good things. I kind of just want to see what this is going to look like with the Korean buildings, to be honest. And I'm also wanting to do this so that this guy gets power, and so that we actually see people starting to use the highway as well. I'm pretty sure this junction's going to be terrible, by the way. I've used junctions like this before, and more often than not, they are objectively dreadful. But I just like the look of it, so that's why it's there. Now, interestingly and somewhat annoyingly, it seems like there are no Korean residential buildings. I might be completely wrong on that. Maybe these guys level up, but I'm not seeing any. I am seeing the Korean commercial buildings, but I think what I might have to do. What is this? Why did this build? Why are these? Why would they build that way? We get these beautiful buildings here. And then for some reason they do this. I may never understand this game. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. I it's elusive is what it is. City Skylines is an enigma, and that's perfectly fine by me. I'm also going to just extend this district onto the highway, because that's going to mean that we actually have proper coverage on all of the buildings. In case you're wondering about an Old Town policy on a highway, it does not affect highway type roads. So as long as these roads here are in fact highways, the Old Town policy will not stretch to the highway. Oh, these buildings are so good looking. They're so good looking. I'm really annoyed that there's no matching residential buildings. There might, again, there might be. They might level up. I might just sit and wait and see, I guess, and maybe we'll have some luck. I could just go look at the Steam store page for this pack, but we'll just keep an eye on this, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure you guys can leave it in the comments as well. By the time the next episode comes up, I'm sure I will be aware as to whether or not there are residential buildings in this pack, but feel free to let me know in the comments as well. I might see the comments before I see the store page. Anyway, this is cool. I really love these buildings. I really do. Okay, I couldn't resist. This episode was supposed to be short, and I'm waffling on and I'm doing things that I don't need to do, but I just wanted to fill up this space because I wanted more of these Heart of Korea buildings, and I also wanted to get some power down to this metro station. So yes, I've gone ahead and filled this space with just a bit of generic zoning, and I've done this strategically. I have very intentionally not built anything in the space to the left, in this space in here, because I actually have a bit of an idea for what I'd like to build in there. I want to build essentially a nice sort of service hub thing. kind of similar to what we have down here with this guy and all the policing and stuff like that. But I want to build something for probably, well, a hospital, essentially. I want to build a nice big hospital in there. I'm thinking we'll play around with the general hospital because I believe I think it matches the Heart of Korea pack as well. So it'll look quite good in there. We can do some medical helicopters behind that as well. And I think that'll just look pretty good. It'll also make up for the fact that there's not great medical coverage over here. Fire coverage over here is not great either. So we could probably do something with maybe a fire safety sensor. And for policing, we can probably do something like the police security center as well, something a little bit smaller just to give some coverage to the space. That's also going to make up for the fact that we did get rid of a medical clinic over here. I mean, the coverage isn't going to be the same, but oh my God, that's busy. Wow. How many passengers? 908. That's not as busy as I thought it would be. How are we doing in numbers? 1,500. Buses are actually up to 4,000 now. There's now more people using the buses than there were before I put the metro in here. So that's a little bit concerning. Traffic flow overall is 77%. It's gotten worse. That's a little concerning as well. It's probably because of this. So that sort of makes sense. Honestly, traffic really isn't that bad. It's moving. Like, there's a lot of it and there are tailbacks. But like these guys, yes, there's a big tailback here, but they do move. And that's kind of the interesting thing about it. Really, the only thing I could do to improve this is more asymmetrical roads, I think. Which is something that I've been playing around with over here. So we have dedicated left turn lanes and all that good stuff. So I'm hoping that traffic coming off the highway here isn't going to be a disaster. But we'll see. We'll see how things go. This guy is now getting passengers, which is fantastic news. This guy is getting passengers as well. If we look underground, there are people waiting at both stations. And I mean, we could have trains running back and forth between them. We just don't need those right now. Anyway, I think we can safely say that everything we've done today has been a success in the sense that people are using it. Not necessarily in the sense that it has done anything to improve the traffic situation. I've also managed to place my least favorite building in the game in a way that I'm kind of okay with, which I'm gonna take as a huge success. And with my personal prejudice aside, I think the only thing left to say is thank you very much for watching, everybody. It has been an absolute pleasure as always, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.